Just 1 second, everybody. Let me just make sure. Cody, just let me know when it's go.
We're live.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Receiver.
All right. Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, June 24th, 2025, and we are joined here today for the Municipal Financial Recovery Advisory Committee meeting, MFRAC for short. My name is Michael Dowry, and for the next 6 days, I have the pleasure of serving as receiver for the City of Chester. We are joined here today on behalf of the Governor's Office and Department of Community and Economic Development, Deputy Director, Mr. Andrew Sheaf, on behalf of Delaware County Council, Ms. Kelly Diaz, and on behalf of the City of Chester, Mayor Stephon Rhodes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And as always, on behalf of the Receiver's Office, joined by Chief of Staff for this engagement for the next 6 days, Mr. Vijay Kapoor, and Executive Assistant on loan from DCED, Mr. Cody Dill. Gentlemen, thank you and good afternoon.
Afternoon.
All right, well, folks, it's come to a bittersweet end for me. This will be my last meeting serving as receiver for the City of Chester as we pass the torch on to Mr. Kapoor. But we have a meeting here, and we want to go through our formalities, and then I'll make a few comments at the end of the meeting. But Mr. Dill, would you mind addressing public comment? Have we received any public comment since our last meeting? Has the committee received any public comment since our last meeting?
Sure. So we have not received any public comments. So as always, we'd just like to, again, encourage the public to reach out to the committee. The best way to do so is through our resource account email address, which is info@chesterreceivership.com. Again, that's info@chesterreceivership.com.
Thank you, Mr. Dill. Mr. Kapoor, are there any presentations for today?
Mr. Receiver, no presentations for today. I think probably at the next MFRAC we'll have a little bit more of an update here on where certain projects and certain items stand with receivership and with the city. But for today, no PowerPoints, no presentations.
Well, I guess we'll get to my final remarks sooner than expected. What I'd like to do today is to thank a few people. I'm going to name drop a little bit and probably get in trouble for missing some folks and or oversharing, but want to attempt to say thank you to some folks who have held us accountable over the last held me accountable over the last 5 years, but then also others who have just been supportive, encouraging, and wanting the best for the city. I'll start with organizations. Making a Change group on behalf of Corey Long, the Local 413, and the director, President James Harper, Boys and Girls Club, and their director, Derek Phillips, the Cat Center, and Ms. Tara Young, and Widener University, of course, with Dr. Marina Barnett, Katie Hershey, and Dr. Judy Stang, and others who have been supportive along the way. Swarthmore College, the Senior Center, and Little League Football, Mr. Charles Thompson. Again, not an exhaustive list, but I wanted to acknowledge a few organizations that have been helpful throughout this last 5 years. To elected officials, of course, Mayor Stephon Rhodes is probably where I should have started, who's been a resource, a friend, a mentor since day one, since arriving in Chester, and I really appreciate everything that you've done, sir. But more important than being supportive or helpful for me, throwing your hat in the ring and actually becoming a city council member and then ultimately mayor. There's no greater way to serve than to run for public office, and I really appreciate all that you do. Justin Tibbles to finish out the team there, but city council members, Davis, Gibson, West, Controller Blackwell, who's always greeted me with a smile and open arms since day one. Delaware County Council, Ms. Diaz, please extend my gratitude to Dr. Taylor, Ms. Ruther, Womack, Schaefer, Madden. All of them have been supportive of the city, of our office, as we over the last few years. To Congresswoman Scanlon, former employee Malcolm Yates, and the rest of her staff, thank you for all of your work. Representative Kazim, who I first met with a broom and a dustpan, a shovel, just going block by block, just cleaning up her city. Uh, Very impressed with the work ethic, with the everything that she's put in and continues to pour into this city. Thank you, Representative Kazim and Will Jones, for all of the work that you do and for the relationship built. To Senator Kane and Steve Warhola, same, echo the same sentiments and appreciate your commitment to the city of Chester. School board members, in particular, Ms. Tara, Ms. Betty McLaren, thank you for the lunches and just the inside knowledge, if you will, inside baseball to what's going on and how to address certain issues. To DA Stolzheimer and Matt Kraus and Tanner and the rest of the crew there, thank you for your help. And to former Mayor Linder, thank you for the candid conversations. I'll jump from there to the business community. Roland Taylor, not only for all that you do for the community, but for the great lunches, Duo Taco, and also just for going out to lunch with me and just having those conversations. Chaplain Jamil Kopman, your sub trays are the best, and I certainly will be back in Chester to pick up a couple of those. Thank you, sir. Dr. Savage, James Turner, Kenny Picasso, Art Monster. I need to pick up some more work, but you will carry on in our household. Thank you for the gift from my wife. And to Fatso's Bakery, you have no idea. I hope to see the doors open again soon. But not only for the good treats, just for the good conversation and encouragement and chastisement over the years. I really appreciate you being you. I'll jump from there to DCED. Mr. Chief, if you can extend my gratitude to Secretary Siger. Hopefully I'll bump into Governor Wolf at some point to thank him for the appointment. But that support continued on under Governor Shapiro, and certainly appreciative of all the support the governor's office and DCD have provided over the years. To Deputy Director Rick Bolello, Mike, Hannah, and others, just want to say thank you. Cody, you're in that group. Kim Bracey was in that group, and just if there's anyone on the team that I'm missing, please blame it on the mind, not the heart. And to our team, PJ, I mean, it goes without saying, I've learned so much from you. Folks don't know, I'm an accountant by trade, financial management, but working alongside a labor attorney, but you're so much more than that. I don't know really the right way to explain your profession and what you bring to the table, but I learned a great deal from you over the last 5 years, and certainly appreciative of the relationship that we've developed. And to the rest of our team, PFM and Gordon Mann and all the staff at PFM, Fox Chase Advisors, Warner Macklin, Kelly, Jabari, Greg, to Shawaski Buffalo, Nikki, Wendy Renfern, and the rest of the economic development crew, to the Campbell Durant Council, to Tiffany Allen, John McLaughlin, Pat Harvey, and Ben. I haven't talked to Ben Patchen in a while, but I know he's still supporting us behind the scenes. And there are some prior members who weren't officially a part of our team, but have certainly been supportive, and namely Dave Unkovic, Adam Santucci, earlier team members John Branham, Quincy Phillips. Just want to thank everyone for the work that they put in. The last two groups that I want to acknowledge are staff and residents. Residents I'll run through first. Ms. Barbara Muhammad, who's a pillar in the community. It's been, again, certainly appreciative of the relationship we've developed. And I hope that you continue to fight and just continue being you and making a difference that you are. And to everyone else in the Chester Education Foundation, thank you for the support, being open to receiving us, hosting meetings, et cetera, and really appreciate the space and time given. Christy Barnes, good luck in your race. Chaplain Lisa Dennis, Lynn Johnson, Mary Nixon. To Ms. Nixon, I want to extend an apology. Really, I hope that we could have done more in my time, but I know that there's a great team in place, staff-wise, and on the receivership team that will continue to advance the efforts. None of it can happen fast enough, but we appreciate the patience and grace that you've given us, and and hope that things turn the corner sooner than later. To Dakeem Williams, past master Casey Davis, Mr. Burton, Mr. Bonky Powell, Adelaide Evans, again, tremendous advocates and pillars in the community. Kenny Covert, Andrew Nelson, Bishop Robbins, Champlin, Hilda Campbell, Nicole Cogdell, and Sheila Church, just to name a few of the residents that have been supportive over this time, and I'm greatly appreciative again. Which brings me full circle to staff. Staff, so much gets lost in, did the receiver do it or did staff do it? Who's really gets the credit for an accomplishment? And it's not to be seen that way. We were all just throwing our hat in the ring and doing whatever we can to help move the city forward. So to the staff, I want to say a special thank you to those who have endured all of this transition, not just transition, but tough times, right? That started long before we got here, but hopefully we'll be turning the corner sooner than later. So I'll start with Ms. Janelle Brown, Ken Schuster in the solicitor's office, Ms. Denise Stanback and Amanda Johnson. In Public Works, the dynamic duo of Mark Alexander and Rodney Roberts, now with Andrew Heyman and Sean Drawn. Sean and Jaquan, I impressed with what you guys bring to the table. Highly encourage you to seek out opportunities at PML, networking, GFOA, whatever you can do to learn more about best practices in other communities, and then bring that home, right? No idea is original, but there are people who are ahead of you in this race that have tried some of these measures before and can share with you their experiences. To Mr. Petey, Ralph Dorsey, to City Clerk Candace Newsom, the IT crew, and Chris, and former Chief of Staff Leonard Leitner. Thank you for all that you guys have done. Commissioner Blackwell, Commissioner J.P. Shirley, who stepped up to bat to fill in for Leonard in his absence. And so Tom Moore came on board. Thank you, Commissioner Shirley, for all that you've done. And to the unions, President Riley, President Ross, thank you for all of your work in the community. To the current Chief of Staff, Thomas Moore, Finance Director Richard Troutman, and former Director Receiver Nichols. Thank you for your leadership and guidance. To the Finance Department, Mike Hurst, I want to single you out along with Fran Goldson and Lisa Rothwell and some others there for sticking through. Others have jumped ship. You guys have stayed on and are determined to see this through. And I think the city is that much better for that. So please continue to press forward. To the front desk, Ms. Pat and Caprice Clark, if nothing else, kept it straight with me and would always made me feel welcomed as I enter City Hall, and I certainly appreciate that. To the economic development crew, Ms. Nona Watson, thank you for stepping up and filling that last director role. To Kim Pidner Gardner, to Lisa Gaffney, to Dr. Christine Motley and others, thank you for all that you've done and continue to do. And to the inspectors, there's a tremendous amount of focus on your work at this time. There always will be, because you guys are a tremendous asset to the city and your work is very important. So continue to strive, learn more about what can be done to help move the needle. And you will see the results. The residents all will see and enjoy the results. So thank you for stepping up and taking on the challenge. So that, I'm sure there are people I missed and probably people I wasn't supposed to single out, but I just wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you. It's been a tremendous ride. I can't believe 5 years went by that fast, but now it's time to move on, or take a step back, I should say, as we move into the next phase of this engagement. I'm not going far though. The DCD and Mr. Kapoor have agreed to keep me around, albeit in a different capacity, but I'll continue to do everything that I can to be supportive of the city of Chester as we move forward. So again, I say thank you, and I guess let the hazing begin. Are there any comments from the committee?
Well, I don't think we'll consider this a roast, but I'll go first.
Gross. There it is.
Oh, boy, I don't know where to start. Let's start with the fact that I've known Michael Dowery from the moment he got here 5 years ago, and I've been in three capacities since that time. When we first met, when he first came on board, I was just that community journalist out there observing what goes on in the city and pretty much offering my opinions. And I never like offering opinion without a solution. So I was watching receivership as it began, but that was a continuum of an effort started back in 2006 of just keeping track of what's going on in the city and helping the locals and those who keep track of Chester matters abreast of what's going on. Michael came on board just as the early decision to run for office was made, which was January of 2020 for me. I think Michael was officially assigned on, was it June 2020? Yeah, so June of 2020. And, although I tacitly said I'd run for government, it was still far into the future, but then decided to run for council. And after being elected on council, now I'm serving in a capacity as a councilman, getting a closer view of what receivership means to the city of Chester by working a little closer with Michael and his team, but not very closely. I was director of recreation in those years, and the momentum had been already started with receivership and going pretty well. Then we fast forward to becoming the mayor, which really put me at the table with receivership and their team on a darn near daily basis. My observation of receiver Dowery is this: it started out as sort of a observation of concern. I saw him all around the community, and he gave credit to a lot of the people. And as you've heard, between the organizations and the individuals, he got around this community quite a bit. And I sort of complained about his actions out here in the community. I was like, Mr. Dowery, Receiver Dowery, you should be inside City Hall. You should be counting money and making sure all that's straight. What are you doing out here on these cleanups? What are you doing out here talking to the community with the environmental activists? It didn't make sense to me. And in his way, that is somewhat gentle, somewhat kind, but always like right to the point, he stepped to me and says, look, if I don't understand why I'm doing this work and what the results are going to bring, then I'm not going to be effective. And it was at that point that I realized that whoever made the selection, whether it was Governor Wolf or, whoever was heading DCED at the time, whoever made that decision made the right decision. This was the right man to come to Chester. But not only was he the right man for the job, he was the right man to absorb the challenges that came with the job, much of which I'm sure you couldn't have anticipated. So by being close to you and watching you move and responding to the praise that you were getting on the one hand, but also the criticism that you were getting on the other, and how it was affecting the results that will never come fast enough for any of us, was pretty amazing. Many people don't understand that our relationship, and I mean my relationship with the receiver and his team, really didn't start to blossom until I became the mayor. There wasn't really a lot of contact before then, but at that point, it really mattered. It became my vision being communicated through the receiver's office to DCED and up to governor, because that's what it's really all about. I didn't witness a lot of vision coming out of city government before then, but once we just became that well-oiled machine working together as was intended when you got here in the first place, we're at a point now where we can finally kind of peek over and see the goal line. and see what we can accomplish with the help of you. I've only been in government for 3.5 years, and I mean that in the totality of all the industries I've worked in, I've only been in government for 3.5 years. So I am very new to this. I've been that guy on training wheels for the first few months, and you guys were a big part of my training wheels. I've learned so much about what this city could be, what it can become, what the potential is, how government should work, through you guys, than I could have learned anywhere else. Chester has been stuck in status quo for well over 100 years. It's just been a long, hard road of pretty much the same type of government. It's a city where people come through and say time has stood still, basically for the last 40 or 50 years. Movie makers love Chester because they don't have to change the set. If they want to make a period piece, this is the place they come. But it's time for a change. And, change doesn't come easily. Change doesn't come without some struggles. Change doesn't come without people who can make it happen. I love what you said about having some of our employees better themselves, get more exposure, get more training so they can bring best practices to the community. I mean, that's what moving the needle means to me. It means moving it from status quo to best practices. And, although you couldn't last, well, you could have last, but although you won't be here from cradle to grave in this whole process of receivership through bankruptcy, you've left a roadmap that can't be deviated from. I mean, we're on your path to completion. It only helps that, Mr. Kapoor is here to finish the job. You guys have worked side by side as a superhero duo team, through the whole process. I couldn't imagine taking us to the end without, one of you leading the charge. So, Mr. Kapoor, the shoes that you're filling. In fact, you kind of ordered a shoe or two that you're going to be wearing. To Mr. Andrew Sheaf out there at DCED, man, you just been laying back somewhat quietly on these calls, but we know you're the engine that just keeps this thing going. Receivership doesn't usually go 5 years, and what we'll probably anticipate maybe 6 or 7. That just is not normal, and it's a testament to the fact that the state is truly committed to seeing Chester come out of the situation that we're in, not just for the day after bankruptcy, but for a decade or two after that. The dust is beginning to settle, the light is beginning to get clear. I can't thank you enough though, Michael. I mean, you call me your mentor. I think that's totally misplaced. I've got to flip that, man. I've learned so much from you, from the professionalism of how you operate, to the knowledge that you've brought to the table, to the way that you conduct meetings, to the way that you handle your frustrations when things are just going off the wire. It's tremendous to watch, and I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy. I'm sure we both go into our closets and scream and holler and then come out looking cool and and try to get our work done. I'm going to absolutely miss you on a personal level. The people here in the building, the relationship that you've built here, they love you for sure. The people out in the community know you, recognize you. I mean, you've really embedded yourself in this community. When I'm going to say, from what I said from the beginning, I really didn't think it was necessary. I really think it was extra. But your answer always will stick with me. And that was that if you didn't know this community, you couldn't serve this community in the work that you're doing. And you wouldn't know, how to exactly get to that finish line. So thank you for respecting our community of Chester. There's a lot of people that could have been selected for this job that would have come in here, sold the water company, and be gone in 2 years. That's not being allowed to happen through this process. Chester is very lucky as a result of that. And with that, I'm just looking forward to saying goodbye, face to face, maybe clinking a glass somewhere. And I consider you a friend. I will expect that our relationship will continue long beyond here, and I will continue to learn from you because you're the man in this space. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you, Mayor. You're far too kind. We'll agree to disagree on who's mentor, but thank you again for your kind words.
Well, I wanted to take the opportunity too, Mike, just to say thank you. I think the mayor said it best when he described just your role in the community and what people think about you. You know, you and I have worked together, you know, and almost have been on a contact on a daily basis, literally on a daily basis, for the last 5 years. Most folks don't probably realize that. They maybe see us on MFRAC every 2 weeks or you know, kind of around the city or in meetings. But I have had the pleasure and the honor of being in those either quiet rooms or phone calls with Mike, talking over really important decisions to make. You know, I come from this world, so I come from the world of cities that are in financial distress and the public sector. You know, I've said many times, Chester's a situation that I've never encountered. I've learned things here that I've never seen before. Andrew is shaking his head. It's true. I mean, we've encountered things here. Either the order of magnitude is so great, or it's never occurred in other places. And it took a very special person to lead a pretty diverse team um, uh, in the first 5 years of working with Chester under receivership. And like the mayor said, you're the perfect person for that. For those of you who don't know Mike, what you see is what you get. You will get a good sense of who Mike is if you have one conversation with him. As you see, he said he's an accountant. He is an accountant. He is to the point. He is about the facts. But what makes him sort of special as an accountant as well is just his ability to just connect with people. And you see that around Chester. I've told the story a couple times. I'll walk downtown or over town with Mike just on the street, and people will stop their car, honk the horn, wave, and I'll ask Mike who that was, and he won't know who it was. They'll know him, but he won't necessarily know them. And that's happened on multiple occasions. And I think, you know, people understand, you know, that Mike truly cares about the city. I would not have taken the position of being receiver if Mike wasn't staying on, and he is staying on in a part-time role. Just you could tell as Mike just listed the various members of people who he interacted with in the Chester community. That's not typically what a receiver does. It's not typically what an Act 47 receiver or even a coordinator does. Um, but you know, like Mike, I agree. It's fundamentally important, especially for a community like Chester, who is rightly skeptical of people coming from, you know, who aren't from the city coming in. And through his humility, through his intelligence, and just the way he conducts himself, as you know, waiting to hear everybody's ideas before he makes a decision, being patient, taking his time. Those are all the things that I am trying to learn from him. I think we make a pretty good team there. And I will consistently rely on Mike going forward as well. The final thing that I wanted to say, and what I want to leave the community, whether there's creditors watching this or whoever might be watching this for posterity or for right now, we have had to make a lot of really hard decisions during receivership. We always do our best to get as much information as we possibly can, but oftentimes, you know, when you make a decision, you know, in whatever organization you're in, but certainly something like this, you don't know what the result is going to be. You don't. You try and make it in good faith. You try and get all the data around there. You try and get the people with the know-how. But the world is going to do what it wants to do. And the best thing you can do is do the right thing. And that's what Mike always did. So anytime we ended up with a very, very difficult decision, whether it was to file for bankruptcy, whether it was to take the position regarding the monetization with the city's water assets, whether it was to take certain personnel decisions, whether it was to file certain plan modifications. We'd spent a lot of time kind of talking about the facts, but ultimately, where Mike would always bring the conversation back to was what is in the best interests of the residents? And we always ended up with that question: what is in the best interests of the residents? I'm proud to say that again, we did our best to kind of follow and answer that question, and to follow where that went. And Mike, I can tell you as someone who works in this field, what you've been able to accomplish and what you've been able to help accomplish, really, help lead is unprecedented. The fact that that the city is still here, despite where it was when you came in as receiver, where it was literally about to run out of money to make payroll, where it had laid off a third of its workforce, where a police pension fund was about to go under, and to bring it back to where it is now, still a lot of work has to be done. And to do it in a way where you're respected and actually embraced by the employees in the community is absolutely unbelievable. So I just wanted to say thank you. Got some very, very big shoes to fill. We certainly wish you well. You're not going to go far. But thank you, Mike, for everything that you've done. And you should be proud of yourself. And it's really been an honor working under you.
Mr. Kapoor, thank you. You're far too kind. Guys, it went from me thinking I was about to be roasted to now it's feeling like a eulogy. There's still a lot of work to do, and we are still up for the task, and no matter in what capacity. So, but thank you, Mr. Kapoor. I really appreciate everything.
Great.
I did miss at least one acknowledgement that I wanted to make, and that's for the Circle Group. Miss Eileen Mayfield and the rest of her team, Tom Nixon, Nolan, and others. I can't thank you enough for all of the work that you do in the community. When Mayor Roots mentioned environmental justice, it was let me circle back and specifically call out Miss Mayfield. Thank you. I've enjoyed working with you, and look forward to getting that project, the one I'm working on right now, across the finish line. So, are there any other comments from the committee?
Yeah, just wanted to say, Michael, thanks a lot. Thank you for your service to the Commonwealth. We see, as Mr. Kapoor alluded to, some of the problems that we work with, DCED works with, some of the hardest challenges of financial distress. And Chester was one of the biggest challenges that we've ever had to help to work through. And you have had one of the hardest, if not perhaps the hardest job in the state and in the Commonwealth. And you've managed it. You've carried us through with great character and great intelligence. And it's been a privilege to work with you through this time, whether that was trying to help sort through some kind of minor bureaucratic issue you might have been having with payroll or whatever that might be, or having some of the more in-depth conversations. You were always so on point, and brought so much thought to the process and to the approach. And it's been a real privilege. And I've learned a great deal. And you really set the bar for any receiver to come. And again, one of the most challenging positions in the Commonwealth. So I wish you well in your future endeavors, and thank you.
I think Andrew, thank you for everything. I think Mayor Root said it best, that you fly low under the radar, but we know how important you are to this engagement, and we certainly are. I say, are appreciative of everything that you have done and continue to do for the city of Chester and for the Commonwealth at large. I am forever in your debt.
I'll just say lastly, quickly, I'm not going to be as eloquent as anyone else who's spoken. And obviously, and clearly, obviously, others on this committee have worked closer to you than in my role here. But I just want to say that I think you've had the city's best interest at heart. I really appreciate the transparency you brought to this role, because I think receivership, especially for municipality, it's a rare occurrence. It's infrequent. And I think that going into this, a lot of people didn't know what this is going to look like, what these meetings were going to look like, how this is going to work. But I appreciate the advocacy, the outreach, the community, and just trying to be clear about your intentions. And just in the professionalism and the best practices you tried to bring here. And I feel like the way this is going, this will probably be a roadmap for for, should there be a future receivership and for a, a different, I hope it doesn't happen, but, but I appreciate that. And I wish you the best success in your new role. I hope it's a little more relaxing, maybe fewer, fewer press headlines, fewer court hearings, and just, I just wish you so much success. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. BJ, does this, the federal suit that we are personally named in, does that now go away for me once I step down, or do I still have to deal with that?
Yeah, no, we'll see. We'll see. We'll figure all that out. We're not letting you, like I said, Mike, we're, if I got to use that to keep you close, we're going to do that. But we'll see.
Well, again, thank you to everyone for everything, for this committee support over the last 5 years. BJ and I kind of cobbling together, what does this look like? How do we engage on a regular basis? How do we facilitate this in the midst of COVID and the pandemic at the time? And the structure seemed to have worked. We were able to get these meetings out to the public, but engage and make ourselves available for any questions that the committee may have. So again, thank you for your support. But we're not going far. I'm not going far. Mr. Kapoor will reconvene second Tuesday in July. I believe that's July 8th at 1 p.m. And again, thank you for all that you do. This meeting is adjourned.